Planet Coaster 2 looks and feels like an absolutely massive upgrade from the original Planet Coaster 1, but there's still some things missing in my opinion. Certain ride types don't seem to be present, a few guest facilities from the previous game haven't seemed to resurface either. There's some things regarding the coasters that I know you guys have really wanted to see in the brand new game, so I will be discussing that later. And something in particular has really bugged me, both in the previous game and the new one, because they haven't seemed to have done any updates to this yet, so please Frontier, I beg. I'll talk more about what that is later as well. And yeah, despite seeing a lot of what's in the game already, this is my Planet Coaster 2 wishlist. Features and rides that I really hope do end up in the game. So if you do agree with the features I'm going to list today, then thank you very much. But if you don't, then comment down below what you want to see. And also subscribe if you aren't already. We're under a month away from the game releasing now on November 6th. So make sure you subscribe because there's going to be so much content on the run up to and when it releases. So yes, Planet Coaster 2, as I just said to you, because I like repeating myself, releases in just under a month, and we've had many in-depth looks at the game already. Frontier have been posting a lot of different videos showcasing the scenery and different ride types. We've seen the deep dives as well. They are very deep. And then I've gone and deep dived the deep dive. Can someone please deep dive my deep dive of the deep dive? There was an event called Gamescom where they gave people the chance to play it for about 15 minutes, and I'm very grateful for this, but about a month ago I actually got to play the game for about 2 hours as well. And I know when the first trailer released, everyone started doing wish lists of what could we see in the game, and everyone was listing like switch tracks, drop tracks, aeroplane ride car on roller coaster, and there was a lot of different things that people wanted to see, and we have had the answers to most of them already. But in my opinion, there are still a few things missing, or things that I would like to see changed or have a changeable option to them when the game releases. And there's not too many to list, but I feel like a lot of you will agree with the majority of them. And to start with, I'm going to talk about some scenery items and where I think they might have gone, because for some reason I haven't seen anything about them yet. First of all, if you remember, the original game had art shapes, and you used to have the ones that were like extra small, medium, very large, and this big cylinder. But they had so many different shapes, like 2D ones, 3D ones, you know, the lot. We haven't really seen much about them being in the game yet, or I haven't. So hopefully they're there, and hopefully using the brand new scaling tool, we can just shrink them down or make them however we please. Along with that, custom supports, there was a whole separate sort of bit for that in Planet Coaster 1. Not seen any of that in this one. And one of those things that you guys have said a lot about is the fact that the scenery themes are just the new ones and not the old ones. Because there used to be a lot of different themes like sci-fi, western, I know Christmas was in there, and pirates, and those are very basic themes to go with your theme park. But we all sort of thought that those themes would carry over and then the new ones would come in as well, such as the aquatic, the Vikings, and a few others. But it seems like those new ones are the only ones in the game. From playing around, you can change a lot of the colours of like the rocks and stuff, so technically you could still make a western area. You don't have to use the purple aquatic rocks. So western that would be, eh? And there are a lot of different buildings that you could use to make another theme, such as the aquatic stuff looks a lot like steampunk if you put it in the right colour. It would be really nice to see those old themes come back in some form, because they are the most generic themes, but everyone loves them. Bring them back, Frontier, please. And then we get to the guest facilities that I think they also need to bring back, because again, not seen them anywhere in Planet Coaster 2, and they mentioned that one of them isn't in the game, despite being in Planet Coaster 1. I'm of course talking about hotels and restaurants. Honestly, last time I tried to pronounce that, someone pointed it out and said you're pronouncing it wrong, and I can't say it the same ever again. You'll have to excuse my English. But these are two things that we haven't seen yet in Planet Coaster 2, and they did very much tease hotels in sort of the trailers, because the resort theme looks like you should have hotels and apartments, and you know, you would expect them to be ported in from the original game. But yeah, they said in a deep dive at some point that hotels just aren't in the game. And I'm not too sure how many of you actually use the hotel feature, but I feel like it was quite cool instead of just making a facade that no guests go near at all. Actually having them go in and stay there was pretty cool, but it just felt like a solid feature to have. So hotels aren't apparently in the game. Restaurants, we have no idea, although I remember before you used to be able to like change the theme of it and what food they would serve. It seems like it should fit into Planet Coaster 2. but it's nowhere to be seen. I severely hope that this is one of those things that's just been overlooked a little bit, and hopefully we will see it back in Planet Coaster 2. But tell you what, something that is in the game, but also isn't, is one of these things, a tilt coaster. We're going on to the coaster talk now. I hope you're happy. And this tilt coaster is very cool to see in the game, and I'm really happy we finally got something that has that sort of mechanic to it. But my one thing I would love to see, and this also goes for the boomerang models as well that we see on the sort of Vekoma lift hill track. Sorry, did I say Vekoma? I meant Vector. Those coaster types are all designed with the old Vekoma looping track, and it sort of doesn't have the same vibe as the new generation ones. And considering the coaster I mentioned earlier, the plain one, is literally the Vekoma new generation launch coaster, why couldn't they use that track design and put the tilt coaster thing on it and also make a boomerang version? I think it would open up a lot of options for new and old roller coasters if you wanted to go for more realistic approaches, but I guess 90% of people don't really care about that, and that is probably why they haven't put the new gen track on, but I think it would be very nice. Frontier, if you would like to, I'd appreciate it. But like I said, the classic tilt being in the game is great anyway. I'll take it. And talking of other coaster types that may not be in the game, there are quite a few that I think myself and you guys all want to see in Planet Coaster 2. And I know they have given us so many new ones, but obviously enthusiasts always want more, don't they? No one can ever win. I'm going to list a few of these coaster models that I would like to see in the game, and there's one in specific that I think would just be perfect for it, and I'm not sure why they haven't already put it in. First of all, the Mack Extreme Spinning Coaster. There's only 2 of them in the world, so I sort of get why they wouldn't put it in. But at the same time, they also have some weird flat ride that only existed in one place ever, and I'm still confused by what it does. A Mack Striker coaster this time. Obviously, Voltron at Europa Park is the only one to exist, so again, sort of get why they might not put it in. And one that I would have really liked to have seen is the S&S Axis coaster. They haven't actually built one yet in real life, so that one has even less of a chance of being put in this game. The other one I'm thinking of is the Intamin Multi-Launch, or Intamin Blitz coaster as they used to be called. I would do anything to have that in this game. And with that as well, it would be nice to see switch tracks on that coaster if they did add it, and swing launches, because we've sort of realised through people playing the game, you can't actually swing launch any of the switch track usage coasters, which is kind of annoying, but hopefully that means they're leaving that for the Intamin Blitz. I am definitely reaching way too far with this, but I do not care. I would absolutely love to see that in the game. All of what I've just listed so far, as much as I have said that I really want this in the game, it's not going to end my life if none of them do happen. However, this one, oh god, I beg and pray they've done something for this. If you aren't aware and you haven't watched too much of Planet Coaster content or sort of played the game yourself, I guess, in the first game, the stations that the coasters use, and dark rides and transportation rides and everything like that, they aren't the greatest. For just generic use, then sure, they might be really good, but in realism terms, they're just so not right. I mean, marathon spinning coasters are very tiny cars for 4 people, and look how big the station is. They are huge and just so abnormally large. I could load a double-decker bus from that station. What I really wish we could do is change the stations from having those air gates, or to even just having it without that little blue platform on the left and right and just having that grey bit in the middle. I wish we could make custom stations. But yeah, genuinely, I think that's my one bug with this game so far. And keeping on the station talk, I know a lot of you guys have been saying that this has been bugging you as well. Not only are the stations massive, but there aren't any opportunities to do an offload and onload section, which you could do in Roller Coaster Tycoon games. Like you can see right here, where you can sort of get on the main entry platform and go along the ride, blah, 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 go to an exit station, offload, and then the train will make its way back to the entry station, empty and ready to go again. And I know not all rides are like that, but I'd quite like to see that. And the same goes for rolling stations too, because again, the marathon spinning coaster with the huge station that I showed you, in real life, all of them pretty much do roll along their stations, don't just stop and then let people on and then go. They roll along slowly. So hopefully we can see that for that ride, maybe some log flumes, river rapids and stuff as well. it would be amazing. But that is not to say that Frontier haven't done a good job on this game already, because I can assure you, once you get your hands on Planet Coaster 2, you will not want to revert back to the original. But as much as some of these things I've spoken about today may be work in progress and may actually be happening, I just wanted to address my concerns with the stations and also talk about a few things that they could add and make the game even better. Just please fix the stations, for crying out loud. What do you guys think to all of these different features and new upgrades and new rides that I've spoken about? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and make sure to subscribe. Good night.